April 30th, 2006. Western Conference first round against the 2nd seed Phoenix Suns and the 7th seed Los Angeles Lakers. This has been an amazing year and an even better game. As you can see, Kobe has the ball in overtime with 4 seconds left. You probably know what's going to happen, but let's rewind it and take a look at the bigger picture. This 2006 season was a phenomenal season. This was Kobe's second year without Shaq, and it was pretty difficult for him to win like he was used to. The previous season, he missed the playoffs for the first time in his career, and you could tell how much that hurt him. Once Shaq left, his biggest motivation was to win a championship without him. 2006 was also a great year for Steve Nash as well. This was his second year in Phoenix after spending 6 years in Dallas. What I love so much about this year is the battle for MVP. In a lot of people's eyes, Kobe should have won the MVP, but I personally think they got it correct by giving it to Steve Nash. If we look at Kobe and the season he was having, it was definitely amazing, and it was peak Kobe in my opinion. The 2006 season is where Kobe famously averaged 35 points a game, and at that time was the most points per game since Jordan did it in 1987. But as of last year, we seen James Harden pass that. I even have a video talking all about that. You should check it out if you haven't already. While some people looked at Kobe's record of only winning 45 games and being in the 7th seed in the West, there was still a strong case that could have been made for him. You can make a case that his teammates weren't exactly the cream of the crop. The post-Shaq years and pre-Pau Gasol years, Kobe had some pretty bad teammates. Besides Lamar Odom, who was averaging 14-9 at that time, his other teammates were abysmal. We all remember Smush Parker, Devin George, Chris Mim, Ronnie Turioff, and the most important of them all, Kwame Brown. Kobe put his team on his back and did what he had to do just for them to get a chance to win most nights. Kobe had one of the most impressive and historic scoring seasons in NBA history. His 35.4 points a game was good for 9th all-time at the time. With Kobe off the floor, the Lakers had an offensive rating of 92.4, which was 8.7 points worse than the worst team in the league that season. But with Kobe on the floor, the offensive rating jumped to 111.3, which was 3rd best only behind the Mavericks and the Suns. In 2006, Kobe had 27 40-point games. That's more than Klay Thompson, Kevin Love, DeMar DeRozan, Dirk Nowitzki, and Paul Pierce having their careers. In 2006, he also had 6 50-point games. That's the same as Tim Duncan, Paul Pierce, Clyde Drexler, Reggie Miller, and Hakeem Olajuwon had in their careers combined. Kobe averaged 43.4 points for a whole month in January, and if you take away his 81-point game, he still averaged 40.2 in that month. Kobe had 3 streaks of 4 40-point games in a row, and even including a streak of 5 50-point games. Now when we talk about Steve Nash, we're talking about a guy who's 6'3" and only 180 pounds, who turned the Phoenix Suns into a well-oiled machine. The NBA was going through a lot of backlash from the hip-hop era, with guys like Allen Iverson and the thug culture that came like a wave through the NBA. Baggy shorts, cornrows, and oversized jerseys, coupled with the era littered with bad reception of the Portland Jailblazers, Malice at the Palace, and Kobe's rape trial, just to name a few. I guess you can say the NBA was hurting after the Jordan era. Then here comes a relatable white guy from Canada who in some ways represented the complete opposite of all things David Stern in the NBA. Nash was exciting. He ran. He was all about passing. Wasn't selfish. The NBA was desperate to clean up the image of the NBA after years of awful reception. The NBA did everything they could do to push a guy like Steve Nash into superstardom. And it also helped that he was coached by Mike D'Antoni, who put the ball in his hands and let him control the whole offense. During the offseason, going into the 05-06 season, knee cartilage was discovered in Amar'e Stoudemire's knee, and he immediately underwent microfracture surgery in October. Phoenix thought he would make a return by mid-February, but his rehab took longer than usual. Stoudemire eventually came back, but it was short-lived. He would only play 3 games before ongoing knee stiffness in both knees kept him out for the remainder of the season. Nash led a depleted team to 54 wins that year. Most importantly, he did it differently from the rest of the stars in the 2000s were doing it. When iso ball was extremely prevalent, and all the other big names leading their teams were doing it with absurd volume and low efficiency. But here you have Nash, leading the best offense in the league and doing it differently. He was doing it with smart, efficient shots and passing. It honestly was a big shock to the NBA that a guy who only averaged 13 shot attempts a game could transform a team and affect the game so drastically. Within a matter of years, the Phoenix Suns went from the bottom of the Western Conference to the top, while the Lakers went from the top to the bottom. A lot of people looked at what Kobe did on the offensive side of the ball and marveled at it. Maybe because we didn't see anyone score the ball like that since Jordan. But what Nash did passing the ball was impressive as well. He led the NBA in assists with 10.5 and made his teammates better. Being without their number one scorer in Amar'e Stoudemire for that season, someone had to step up. Instead of him trying to fill that void himself, it was Nash's playmaking, leadership, and passing that helped marginal players who were thought of as afterthoughts contribute to the overall success of that team. Players such as Raja Bell, Boris Diaw, and Shawn Marion had the best seasons of their career playing with Nash that year. Yeah, people thought Kobe should have won, but the media and the voters thought different. He didn't win it. He didn't come in second or even finish third. He finished fourth, behind Dirk and LeBron James, who also had great seasons as well. Kobe finished with 22 first place votes and finished with 483 out of a possible 1250. Nash won the award by a wide margin. Out of a possible 1250, he won 924 and he finished with 57 first place votes. The Lakers finished that season winning 5 in a row and 11 out of their last 14 games. The Lakers got the 7th seed and would be matched up against the Phoenix Suns. The Lakers were a huge underdog going into that series, but they surprised a lot of people when they took a 2-1 lead going into a Game 4 at Staples Center on April 30th. After the Suns took the first game, the Lakers won Game 2 and 3 by an average of 6.5 points. The Lakers supporting cast stepped up in a big way, surprising a lot of people. In Game 2, while Kobe had 29 points, Lamar Odom chipped in with 21, while Kwame Brown and Sasha Wojciech added 12 and 11 points. Game 3 is where the Lakers came to play and told the Phoenix Suns to put some respect on their name. Not only did everyone in the starting 5 score at least double digits, but Smush Parker led the team in scoring. Game 2 and Game 3, the Lakers defense held the highest scoring offense in the league that season to 92 and 93 points. So going into Game 4, the Lakers had a lot to feel good about. From the beginning of the game, the intensity and the level of urgency was on sky high. Kobe came out a little too aggressive on defense in the first half and ended up with 3 fouls in the first half, which means he will be spending some extended time on the bench. With Kobe out of the game, I would think the Lakers would somehow find a way to let the game get away from them. But surprisingly, they were able to keep the game close. Everyone seemed to be stepping up, especially Odom and Sasha Wojciech. In the first half, Steve Nash had a great start to the game, scoring 16 points on 7 of 11 shooting. The second half of this game was scrappy, gritty, and amazing to watch. Seeing how the Suns were doubling Kobe and him passing out to the open man was smart basketball. They put Barbosa on Kobe in the second half, and the way Kobe got his points was such a sight to see. Going to the fourth quarter, Kobe had 4 fouls and picked up his 5th at the 6:44 mark of the game. With 2:37, Shawn Marion, who was having the best game of this series, fouled out. They put Tim Thomas in the game to replace him, a guy who just tweaked his knee in the game before. With 2 minutes left, the Suns had a 2-point lead, and it looked like they were on the verge of tying the series up. After a pair of 3-pointers by Devin George and Tim Thomas and Boris Diaw, who hits one of his 2 free throws, the Suns lead by 5 with 12 seconds. Smush Parker hits a 3-pointer to cut the lead to 2. The Suns call timeout to advance the ball. Nash gets the ball by the sideline, and Smush Parker pokes it loose, which results in Kobe tying the game with less than a second on the clock.
Ball knocked away, stolen by Parker. Here comes George to Kobe Bryant. Bryant inside, it's good! It's good! Tie game! 7/10 of a second remaining.
The last minute of overtime, Steve Nash puts Phoenix up by 3 points. This is his first field goal, dating back to the third quarter. Kobe takes Raja Bell off the dribble to cut the lead to 1 with 11 seconds left. Now we have Luke Walton making the biggest play of the game to tie Steve Nash up for a jump ball.
Nash looking, tied up, reach in. A jump ball! A jump ball!
Yeah,
Nash was furious.
Nash said he would call in timeout. He thought that. But because of the trap, depending upon where the referee is stationed, could he hear Nash calling for the timeout?
The Lakers win the tip, and now Kobe has the ball with 4 seconds left in overtime, ending the game with this legendary game winner, giving us a great moment from his Hall of Fame career. Rest in peace, Kobe. We love you.
A 1-point game. Walton can tip it. Bryant with the save.
Oh, you got to get a shot here.
Final seconds. Bryant